Welcome yet again to Motivational Maniac Podcast. It is our yours truly. I go by the name of Thando Nkonyana. We create this day and this episode in the holy name of Shiva. To the one that is above, we are quite thankful. Yet another journey throughout the concrete jungle. I have a good bud of mine right here. I've got Jeffrey. Man, it's been an honor and a privilege, my G, to actually be an admirer of your journey as well. I met you via Tamabeneke. Anyone who's been listening to the show, the audio version, and seen a couple of videos, I've had Arthur Malveneke in one of my episodes as well. Good brother of mine, wasn't bred in Zim, located here. He went through his journey as well. Looking forward to having an interview as well with him, as the show is currently full video as well. But first of all, this one is going to have a bit of questioning, guys. I had a couple of questions that I had prepared for Jeffrey. I first of all, just tell the audience who you are, Jeff.
Okay, good day to everyone. Yeah, good day to you, Motivational Maniac fans out there. My name is Jeffrey Nyamucho. Most of you might know me by my music stage name, Jeffrey Cartier. I'm a musician, I'm a rapper, and I'm an artist. I do a lot of stuff that it's even hard to relate that. I'm a hustler, that's all I can say. And I'm a very creative person.
Away, my G, man. Let's not make this even longer, maniacs. We're going to get right through to the questions that I have. I'm going to first start off with the origin as well as future. I'd firstly like you to just reflect, most of all, tell us about, is it Chitungwiza? Chitungwiza. Excuse me to everyone if I butchered that one. Can you tell me how was it growing up in there, and also how did that area itself actually shape you up for this music journey that you have embarked upon, brother?
Okay. First of all, just to get you like a good look at Chitungwiza, it's not that different from Google It. So we can say it's almost like the same setup. It's a township. It's a ghetto. Everything that you can expect from a ghetto kid that we did it. History as I do. From going to faraway schools, linking up with a lot of people. I even moved from a lot of places to Chitungwiza because when I was born, we were renting. So I don't know if I can say it's a blessing or a curse, but I feel like it's a blessing for me because I know most of the parts in Chitungwiza because we moved around. I was there traveling, yes, man, as well. Yes, so that Chitungwiza is a great town and it's full of successful artists as well. Some of the most successful artists are came out in hip hop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's like a breeding ground in
around. Yeah. So that artist, it was just something that was into me. But it wasn't up until grade, I could say it's grade 6, grade 7. That's when I first had my first encounter that made me realize that I can do this type of thing. I can do music. Because at first, I was just listening to music, like pumping my head to wood. But when I had how can I say, it's an opportunity to join the school choir. So that taught me a lot of basics about music in the first place. I even performed, shout out to Jamaica Primary School, I performed in 2013. They went to perform as a school choir. And I think they came out third.
Very impressive, brother. So would you say that journey of you going through the choir is the one that actually
that was like a starting point. Okay, it was like a starting point, like I have to take this serious now. Because even my parents were there to see me sing for the first time. They didn't even know I was interested in music up until
they actually saw you in that choir.
Yeah. Okay, I would say that was like the starting point. But when it comes to my music style and everything, I think Chitungwiza is a shaped a lot. Because at first I was freestyling the dance, so Like when I first started composing my old songs, I was freestyling over dancehall rhythms just like the locals there. It wasn't new for.
So dancehall was very big thing. Oh, okay. Because I've been meaning to ask that from someone who's maybe getting into the music scene, at least having a bit of background. Why is dancehall so important to Zimbabwean artists? And now even your national failures to say that. Careful, still. I know about the story about him coming to Zimbabwe there and meeting with Robert Mugabe. So that flag, the Yushasike is racial out there. Okay, that's why he has those Rastafarian colors. Yeah. Okay.
Like a dancer,
So it's like a Mapiano, Zimbabwe.
Yeah.
Okay. So now how did it move from now you were in the school choir and then all of a sudden now you have to start taking this thing seriously, because now how does it move from a hobby to be like, okay, what was the turning point for you? I understand you got into the choir, but then what was the turning point in terms of, okay, this is not just a hobby, this is something I'm actually passionate about? Because you said your parents so they were amazed at the fact that you were doing music in the first place, and the orchestra as well, that is a past. So it was hard for
to just let them know the first time that, hey, I'm doing dancehall music now, it's secular music now.
I can understand even the pushback on them being Christians, you say.
It was a lot of fights, there are fights. I didn't say the journey was easy, but I'm glad I'm very true.
Of course, man, without tribulations, then I always say that you cannot be able to overcome. We need those blockades, those moments where it feels like you are in doubt of what you are doing, because at the end of the day, I feel like once you start to know what you are about, I feel like this conflict, obviously speaking, outside world, because they have an idea of who they want you to be, and then you also have an idea of what you need to buy. And thinking about everything that was around you in terms of you saying your mother was a pastor. Now, obviously, she would wanted you to go into that gospel route or maybe something like that, but it was totally different. So now, how does the name Jeffrey Cartier come up now?
Like Jeffrey Cartier, Jeffrey is my birth name.
Is your pet name?
And my surname is Yamucho, so I just had to put my little piece there. But initially, I wasn't using that stage name. What we used to check for my other projects there in YouTube and other platforms, yeah, under the alias Lil Sparta, the clip code. Yeah, that was my first stage name. And then when I moved here, I lost a lot of my projects and I couldn't record music for about 2 to 3 years. Say,
Okay.
yeah.
Talk me through about the movement now. Joe. I don't say, oh, okay. That was another journey as well. Because people think it's easy for you to actually move from your home country to South
That wasn't easy, bro. It wasn't easy. Comes from a lot. Because while I was growing up, since I told you that I was into secular music, so which means most of the stuff that secular kids do, I was doing it. I was smoking, I was drinking. So over the years, I had a lot of fights with my father. Man. Yeah, I think it started since when I was in this Form 1, yeah. More than about 2-3 fights. Most of the time, I ended up getting me kicked out of class.
And you had to fend for yourself.
Yeah, I had to step up myself. At the first time, I was still like a student, so I had like relatives to rely on. I had my aunt,
That you could run.
yeah, I could run to my aunt. I could run to my the other was stage or space. Always in the field there, but hey, being artistic is another thing, right?
Hey, it's a very tough issue.
It's a different gen because people expect you to be normal. And yet you're not, but you are not. Sometimes you even wish you could be normal, but they don't understand that. They think, this guy just wants to stay there.
Just so. Yeah, he just wants to be a rebel. I'm thinking about also that nature of you having to choose what gives you life, because at the end of the day, when you attest and you listen to your gift, obviously it does come with that that inner conflict as well. You ask yourself if you know a package. Of course, because once you start to choose this thing that, I can't go a day without motivating. I can't go a day without doing all of these things. Now all of a sudden you look like you're the black sheep. You are different. That I always believe that we are born different. You are not meant to be like someone else, and choosing your journey is not going to be easy. Obviously, people are going to leave you. You're going to be in conflict with your own family. Sometimes you have to
chasing something that they don't see.
exactly.
You don't even see it yet, and you don't even maybe have a prayer that are you gonna make it? You see, it's just
There's that fear as well. Yeah, you are following your hunch right there. You're following your hunch, my man. And then tell me a bit about the musical influences. You mentioned that you were first studying over dancehall beats. Now, who are the musical influence towards the artist that you are?
First I told you my name was Lee Sparta. I was a big fan of Tommy Lee Sparta. I don't know if you know that guy. He's a Zimbabwean guy. He's a gothic dancer. Because I told you I was a rebel. So his music is like similar to, they call it gothic dancehall. Just
Gothic.
yes, sir. So that was like one of my inspirations when I was first starting out. But my first song was a hip hop song, the one that I first took out to the public and everyone. Yeah, I took money out of my own pocket after finishing my matric. Then I took my money. I went to a studio. I believed in myself. I told myself I can do this. I went into the studio. I get that drummer. I told him I want to record the song. Even him was shocked. Have you ever recorded before? I said, but
You were throwing yourself in the deep immediately, but
I knew I needed something. And even my founder, you were the ones that pushed me the most.
you even had fans at the time, bro.
I had friends who were fans.
Oh, sure, but life was
Just studying stuff at school and everything. Yeah. I remember even another time when I was in the Sacred Mind Day. Yeah, we recorded this song about other guys is doing. It's only my friend that song. Every time we just look at that guy who's in that disc,
you were going hard at him, man.
yeah.
You were going hard at him, man.
Yeah. It's another thing, bro. But I enjoyed the creative process of music. I enjoyed it. That's what got me like up and running in the first place. But that something that maybe I created in my old room, I can let it feel to someone who was in some place another time, and it can impact in another way. You can see changing maybe his mood or anything because of something that you created from scratch. So yeah, I always had that internal history to keep on board.
And then what about now? Who influences you now? I know you mentioned of different. But who would you like say that you see this guy currently, he's having the most influence in terms of
I'm gonna say Future.
Free band gang.
I said Future. But when I started listening to hip hop, Drake was one of those guys. Because my first favorite song from the
Drake Race and Soldier Boy.
it was West Behavior for the Drake.
Oh, okay.
That
Aubrey Graham from Canada.
Yeah.
That's Drake, everyone. That's Drake right there. Yeah, that guy got a lot of people into music, man. And he was catering for every kind of ear that you could find. He was there for the ladies. He was there for the hip hop heads.
Yeah.
He brought to me, he brought a different flavor to what hip hop was at the time, and also hearing his still beginnings
to break boundaries.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, the people that get to change things are the people that will take those risks. If you look at where he is currently right now, he probably influenced a lot of artists in the game, and obviously there's a bit of rebelness and also that the risk that you have to take in order for you to actually find yourself in that position to see if what you are doing actually works. And there's a lot of things that I can say about Drake, man. Also, you are a producer as well. You're a producer. So the same alias, Septo. Yeah, self-taught, brother. Self-taught. That is very amazing, bro. And Can you tell me how do you approach producing versus rapping? Like, do you ever treat them differently? Do you have the same approach?
I would say it's one and the same page. Because the first thing when it comes to music is just to be how I understand it and how I perceive it is it's just melodies, but it's just melodies. You see, if in the vocals they just coming like that, but with words inside. Okay, so it's almost one and the same thing, but it comes different because sometimes it's like we beat just to back up like if what you are rapping about.
So even when you cook a beat, you already have in mind what you would like to see.
Sometimes I even start with the hook in my head. Like this. If I just get an idea, 2-3 lines, maybe I wake up on a flow that I'm gonna do, and then I will start cooking up the beat afterwards. But sometimes it's different because I just maybe this beat I made it 1 year, 2 years ago. Sometimes you can just listen to something and get an idea like out of nowhere.
Of course, man. Inspiration can hit you anywhere. It can hit you in the shower, anywhere, even in an event that happens. You might be chilling sometimes, you see something happen because I found myself being inspired by a lot of things. But most importantly was the self-belief. I say aspiring emotion. Of course, because that people don't understand sometimes how the emotions are like a guideline in a sense of what you are currently feeling at that moment and also what your focus is. And in within us identifying that, I said in my last episode, if the emotions must go to school, which means people must also put that creative intelligence along with the emotional intelligence as well, because some of us, we let our feelings decide how we're going to do things. So like, I'm not feeling good today, but I know to record this episode. It doesn't matter how you feel. That's why I always say your feelings are lying. So sometimes people need to see you said. Sometimes people need, because you are a human, brother. Yeah, you need to feel those emotions. And I always say to my friends, that signs of life day. As much as you are feeling emotional, don't lock into those emotions. I'm not saying try to keep busy, but I'm just saying use those emotions as a wave in order for you to push you towards something to the iPad. Use it to your advantage, man. Use it to your advantage. I want you to tell me about what your favorite song is that you have made and what would make that song very special.
Oh, I'm a very picky person. Because I'm always making new songs. But right now, out of the one that I dropped already, I could say it's Don't Forget to Pay. Oh, sure. I have a track like that to this guy, Clef Jones. He was my former producer. Shout out to Big Ray Clef Jones. He even did the hook there. That's a dope song because it's like a gospel song.
Oh, shit. Now it's taking you back to your origins. Yeah, brother. Back to your origins.
I even put my Russia for better was of all times. The dinner, so
19 years old.
It still touches me until today.
Okay, my bro.
And it does remind me every time I listen to it, don't forget to pay.
That's a very powerful statement, eh?
Yeah.
Because to me, it doesn't even require you to be a religious person, because I pray as well. Many people have attacked me saying just because I don't believe in Jesus and all that kind of stuff. Yes, like we shouldn't want people to believe what we believe because we have different experiences of the Creator.
I refer to Shiva more of it's not more of religion than you have to address that you come from somewhere above this hill. I think that's why I always pray.
Of course, man.
I believe that Muslims are gonna pray to heaven is one, and I think Christians are gonna go to the same alternative.
You could never say by the very same message. Let's pause it.
But keep it alive. As long as we didn't leave the world complaining about you being here, as long as you bring out good energy, I think it's gonna be enough to get you somewhere in the afterlife. But
of course, man. Of course, just on that importance of putting out energy, because I'm very conscious of what I expose myself to, especially with my journey as well. I understand sometimes, obviously, negativity is going to come. People are going to try to tell you who you are. You are always going to be in constant conflict. I just want to check. This is rolling. Yeah, we're in 20 minutes. Next 10. Just want to ensure. Because this phone can go down thinking that you are recording, but it's not. But yeah, just the importance of that, my man. And man, I can't emphasize this any further, maniacs, but be unique, man. I think we don't understand that we are born unique. Everyone is not the same. Yes, and we can't expect everyone to be the same. And I shouldn't be mad at you for what you believe in because that is your experience as well. But obviously, in this journey, you're going to have resistance. But to me, it's gotten to a point where I don't mind because I know I'm not here to explain myself. Why am I doing certain things? Once you get yourself into that loop where you're trying to explain who you are, I think you can be conflicted as well because now you're going to start taking instructions from people who are not in your shoes. They don't experience the same thing that you, yes, and they don't even know anything about you. And the beautiful thing about being a creative is the fact that anything that you do is a self-expression. We are expressing yourself in the music that you are putting out there. I'm expressing myself in the podcast that I'm putting out there, in the motivations and everything. And I understand at the end of the day, I sleep very well knowing full well that I did my best. We take so granted the next 24 that we had because my focus is on what am I going to do for this amount of time that I have there now, instead of actually focusing on the next 24 because tomorrow is not matter. What if tomorrow never comes for you? And even waking up, brother, is the biggest gift. That's why it's called the present. Well, yeah. You only have now to make that a reality. And we also recording this in the now, my man. So I don't take that for granted at all. So you move to Cape Town right now. Obviously, you have to bring those Zimbabwean roots in with you. You move into Cape Town. How do you think that relocating to Cape Town has actually influenced your musical journey?
I could say it's a great impact, brother. It bonded by fear another way. Because when you are in a country like Zim, sometimes you don't know what is out there. You don't know there's a big world there. You don't know you can make millions of dollars just from your having a phone here as in the music that you're ordering. So when I came to Cape Town, I realized that we could make it actually as a success. And at the product I did because it made me consider the international market as well. Pause rappers when I was starting out, I was very focused on locals. But now when I came here, I see that you did feel happened the neck. It then bet like a nice for the of course, brothers, music nowadays is more like it's not like the streaming era. We're in the streaming era. You're not constricted right now to just the amount of people maybe in your town and maybe in your country right now. You can just post everything in the whole world. Yeah, no one knows about you, but I know artists down there. You see, that's one of the things that also amazed me when I started the podcast in using the platform. And a lot of people think that these platforms, if you could equip yourself with knowledge and understand that you can start off free, and then obviously as you start to gain some traction, you have a bit of money here and there, obviously you put it towards your success. But when I started the podcast, I didn't know that the algorithm can be able to distribute my content to people in other countries as well. I thought I was just constricted to South Africa. But the World Wide Web made it even bigger. Since TikTok came and all these apps that started to have these radical algorithms right now. And as we speak, we are in more than 22 countries, 22 to be exact, the last time I checked. And that is when I realized, you know what? You can't constrict yourself, my man. You might not get support. Yeah, you're not limited. You might not get support from the people around you, but that doesn't mean that you can't go out there, post your things. Because look at YouTube. YouTube is a company that was bought by Google and is in America. But how many people are watching their content? It's mostly people in the UK and the US. It's not South Africa. Because the beautiful thing about how intelligent the algorithm is, it takes it to the people that want to hear it most. So now I don't have to even worry that you do not know me, and I don't have to prove a point to nobody, because the main thing that I said when I started, the controllables for you is to make the content, edit the content, and distribute it.
whoever gets to watch it is supposed to get to watch it.
That's right.
You see, anything that is not within your control, you can't control, brother. Focus on the controllables.
You have to keep going. You have to keep going. We thought all that's I thought type them. That's one of the things that drives me. Sometimes I don't have to drop a song because of the views that it has, but the music must be out there, brother. It only takes one video, it takes one song.
I mean, to talk to up like my best friend, fight. He said only one video. Tell him
Takes one. It's like that, brother. That's one thing I like about free too. Once you hear that one hit song, everyone is gonna go back to those songs.
yes, and now everything that is of your road story is gonna tell us like 1 million, 2 million views now.
So consistency is key.
Very, very problem, man. No matter how social, there's the 2 years that it was just cats for that. The first 2 seasons, crickets, nobody was listening. Yeah, you had big dreams. Who's gonna listen to your show and all that kind of thing? But I was like, you know what? You're doing it for yourself, my man. You're not doing it for them.
You're gonna get better every time. The second podcast is always sounds better than
Of course, because you aim to be 1% better. That's who I aim to become, better than myself, my old self. Even AKA says, listen to your old shit. That's your only pressure. Your only pressure is your old shit, but
yes.
not what someone else is doing. And your journey, once you fully zone into it, and not just fully zone into it, also take inspiration from other people. Be happy, clap for other people, because your time is also coming. The same like energy that you put into supporting other people is the same energy that you must also put into yourself, because you need to be your biggest fan. I'm not sure you saw the video that I shared from Gary V that says that it baffles me that you can't be your number one supporter, because people are not going to support you, obviously. But when you like transfer that same energy onto yourself, you hype your shit on yourself. Exactly. It makes a huge difference. Yeah, it's like, yo, this guy is so hyped up at this shit. We maybe need to tune into this shit eventually. Because my best friend at one point, he said, yo, bruh, even when you were not working at that time, every single day, I got an opportunity to see your video. See your video. Every time I see your video, I'm like, yo, I must go and think, because he's an artist. Both of them are artists, or a visual artist stuff. Yeah, the other one is also the music producer as well. He goes by the alias Dancehall. Very calm, very introverted, but they let their art speak for them. And they will always say, yo, bro, we didn't get to see you that often, but every time we tune into the social, there's your video. And they gave me props on one of the episodes in the earlier seasons to say, yo, bro, you're doing it, Machi. You're actually doing it, yes, I'll be doing it. Very, brother. I call it my cycle of accountability. I hold those men in high regard, because through tough times, they also are there. They understand that there's also a human element to this person. I might be the motivational maniac, I might be this motivational speaker, but they also understand, my man also goes through life as well, because that is when we need to be available for it. So in many instances, that is one thing I saw even when I was in high school. Whoever you keep around you is very important to have. Yes, because they have the biggest influence in your life. So when I started having them in my space, instead, you don't have this jealousy, you have this admiration that, hey, these guys are painting, hey, these guys are doing this, hey, let me get on my shit as well. You see,
they're always inspired.
Yeah, there's no competition as well. And even when I started doing the show in terms of interviews, because the first 2 seasons is just me writing something down and then I would record it. It was more like a trial and error. But in between them, they also said, you know what, my man, the most important thing when you are doing what you are doing is going to be you listening to constructive criticism. Someone can criticize you and can tell you what you need to do and work on. So our very first episode with one of my guys named Bongo, someone said I was cutting too much of the silences. I must stop doing that. I must let the conversation flow, because it sounded robotic. So like, this is exactly what we're talking about, constructive criticism. So we move towards that. Every person that gives us that positive feedback, yes, obviously criticism is not very easy to take, because you think they are attacking you, they're not attacking you.
And sometimes you would find the ones that attack you. So sometimes it's better before they look at cut. Of course, my man. Like, when someone says something that's it makes like a mark to you, makes a great mark. I mean, it's true. You're gonna consider it.
Of course, man. I had to do that. I had to do that. And the majority of the time, obviously, they were coming from a good place. They would tell me, you know what? Because I want you to treat that, my man, I'm going to tell you like it is.
Must have like a small sake of honest people. I always keep that. Only a few closest friends. I give them the song first for why, you know, but tell them, have a listen. Tell me what they think about the song before I drop it. Damn, I just sometimes it's actually sick. This person is telling you to sing in another boat. This guy is telling you to sing in another batches.
But at the end of the day, you make the final decision.
You make the final decision. So it's always good to consider before you take advice.
Of course.